Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 129 people in 13 different countries, and it should be spectacular. This is the August triplet set, healing 3 of 3 for August 2025. It is Wednesday, the 13th of August, 2025. And the theme for this healing, as well as the whole triplet set, as well as the twin set coming up later this month, is emotions and sexuality. And senses. Senses, you know, could be also enjoying music. Look at that, you know. So, I'm going to dive right into some sort of teaching concepts first. Ooh, thank you for my confirmation. You are fabulous. You want to say, guys, where you're watching me from, what the weather's like where you are. You are more than welcome to do that. Okay, so some concepts. So one thing I want to say is sexuality is kind of a loaded thing for a lot of people, you know. I think that having issues with enjoying one's sexuality is way more common than the average person would realize. And I think part of that is because it's the same chakra, emotions and sexuality. And a lot of people don't give themselves time to be aware of their emotions or process them. Plus, I mean, you can have baggage related to sexuality due to abuse in this life or past lives. But you can also have emotional abuse in this life or past lives that you haven't fully processed. But the thing is, having been abused doesn't mean that you don't get to have emotional wellness or sexual wellness. It just means that you may have to do a little catch up as far as healing and processing over time. And you also may have to be a little more non-judgmental with yourself, because I think it's easy, much like with body image, you know, with body image stuff, you know, you see all these perfect airbrushed images. So like, not only is the person a professional model and they work out full time, but then their image is even airbrushed. So you're not even seeing how they really look. Izzy. But anyway, so there's that. So it's like, the idea is you don't have to be perfect and things can be workable over time. But, you know, as far as sexuality, I think there's, you know, this assumption that, you know, everyone's sex life is going to be fabulous or it's going to be terrible and stay terrible. So also you can work clearing baggage that's affecting your sexuality, but you can also work on overall stress management and your mind and your peace of mind, and also your emotional wellness, and, you know, whether you're carrying other people's emotional burdens and your own. And so it's like, say you want to be able to enjoy your sexuality more than you do currently, working just your sexuality may not be as productive, because sometimes, you know, you can clear some things, you know, say, okay, I'm going to unblock, you know, I'm going to clear energy blocks affecting my sexuality. But then you may kind of plateau with your progress. and there's something else that would get you moving forward more quickly, like basically working your mind or working your emotions, because they're so interrelated. So sometimes, it's like if you need to get your truck out of a ditch, or you need to drive on ice, with your cars on an icy road. It's kind of ironic. You're supposed to not turn into how you're supposed to, I don't know, there's some weird counterintuitive thing you're supposed to do when your car's on ice. I've forgotten what it is now. You brush up on that for winter, I guess. But anyway, so A, things are workable, and B, sometimes, totally avoiding if you have an issue with sexual enjoyment doesn't help, but also harping on it and trying to hyperanalyze, what happened to me in my childhood that this could be true. You don't really have to know what happened to you, because, it could be this life, it could be past lives. And a lot of times your mind might sort of cover up, with denial, things that have happened. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when you're ready to know consciously some information, your mind would let go of the denial, most likely. So, some people kind of rack their brains, like they have to know, they have to know, they have to know. And that's typically just sort of like smacking yourself in the face a whole bunch of times, It's better to it's more effective just to keep healing yourself. And you can, do Mind Garden. I have this thing, Mind Garden. If you search Janet Wright Mind Garden, we've done it in several live streams where, you're working the boundary between your conscious and your subconscious mind, and you're healing it, and you're working both your subconscious mind and your conscious mind as two interconnected gardens. And so you're healing yourself. And so so at least there's nobody repressing your ability to be conscious of things, whatever, past abuse or just facts about your life or whatever. But you don't need to force any awareness, because you can work everything without knowing specifics also. As you have that healthy and gentle intention, but you can keep working, like I said, peace of mind, emotions, sexuality, blocks, keep clearing them. But don't just be like, okay, well, my problem is sexuality, I'm going to keep working that only. They're all different sides of a coin, so you can keep working them, and that way I think you'll progress much faster. You won't hit a plateau and then maybe get discouraged. I hope that makes sense. So that was kind of talking about the emotions and sexuality and the mind and how they're all interrelated and that things are workable, and to try to be aware that these issues are very common, and it doesn't mean you're somehow a loser or a freak or, hopeless or anything. All right. So that's that. And then more concepts I want to talk about. Oh, yeah. Okay, so somebody in their survey, and to be honest, in a post-healing survey, it is always appropriate, in my opinion, to talk about sexuality if you wish, if you feel like it's relevant. And, because I can always work on sexuality topics and kind of weave them into any month that I'm working, because it's second chakra, emotions, and, so it's always relevant feedback, say that, you haven't had sex with your partner a long time and you finally did, but it wasn't enjoyable because you were overthinking, or, it was enjoyable and isn't that amazing, because it's usually not, the context is helpful, and I can look at, how the techniques helped you or didn't help you and what I could do in a future healing, so feel free to keep mentioning sexuality stuff in your surveys if you wish. I'm not going to put an overt question on it every survey on every month, just because I feel like I want to keep the surveys kind of simple and short. But there's plenty of spaces where it's like, do you have anything else to add? And so you could keep mentioning, whatever you want, like your sleep, and keep mentioning your sleep issues, or keep mentioning sexuality issues, or whatever, but anyway, okay. So somebody mentioned good girls, and they said that they how they were brought up was good girls don't touch themselves. So I just thought it would be fun to type this statement. So good girls touch themselves if and when they want. Okay. And I just think it's fun to say that, just because it is possible that in this life or in some lifetime that was either explicitly kind of brain chipped into you, or or implied, or and also we're gonna it's just so funny to see it in big letters like that. Good girls touch themselves. But the thing is, who defines what is a good girl and whether you are not? And boys too. I am healing boys too. Some boys listen to the live stream, not as many. But who decides if you're a good girl or a good boy? Why should someone else have that ability to decide? And I know, okay, fine. If you're 13 years old, your parents, they'll probably use that term, be a good girl, be a good boy, because they want you to study or they want you to do something, right? But I do think it's important to re-own that idea once you're, an adult. Like being good or being bad, and to kind of clean out whatever brain chips were handed to you in this life or past lives that you might still have in your space about, being a good girl or being a bad girl, or, being a good boy or a bad boy, and like, I think that stuff can really just be very unhelpful if you keep it. But it's pretty easy to clear. So that is one thing that we're going to do today. Oh, I just love seeing that in writing. Funny. So one thing we're going to do is clear baggage around being good or bad. And that can be sexually, but that can also be like maybe your house isn't as clean as you would like it to be, and you kind of train wreck on, how you were brought up in this life or some other life, or a judgment that, one of your roommates had about you or something, or, it can affect a lot, like maybe you don't want to put away your laundry, your clean laundry. You want to leave it in the dryer for 5 days, but maybe you're just resisting some good girl, bad girl, good boy, bad boy baggage that you have in your mind, saying that you must do it. And so you're like, okay, it's more fun not to do it because I don't want to go with this brain chip, So if we can purge as much as is healthy and gentle to do right now of this good, bad baggage, I think it's going to just free you up a little bit so that you're not like having these little inner battles about, a lot of them are subconscious though, of course, but you don't want to have to still be trying to be a good girl or trying not to be a good girl, and you're like freaking 50 or, even 25, it's like enough is enough. So that's definitely one thing we're going to do today. So this is something, if you know my work, like if you sort of I don't know, over time, you know, you've been around for what I do, you know, this is something that we do periodically, is a proactive clearing for the next 6 months. And you can do it for a longer time period, but I think there's a depth at which you can clear the next 6 months that is pretty cool. And if you were to do that depth for a year or longer, I think like the I think this is just pretty effective, just to do 6 months at a time and just really go to town on it. I mean, you can clear like proactive clearing the next, you know, the rest of your life kind of idea, but you know, you want to clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now. So, because you don't want to create more problems for yourself than you already have by overdoing something. So I think 6 months is always a time period that the angels really are very comfortable with for doing proactive clearing. So we'll do that today in this healing. I felt like time would be good. So, you know, because right now, I mean, it's always something you could do any time of year, whenever you want, you know, proactive clearing for the next 6 months, which basically just, you know, you clear baggage that's healthy and gentle to clear right now, but is most likely going to get in your way in the next 6 months. And that's just intuitively, you just kind of pick. So you don't have to know consciously everything that's going to happen in the next 6 months in the world or in your personal life or both. But you just intuitively pick, and the angels help you to pick, you know, what's good to clear right now to make it smoother for you. So that'll be cool. Okay, so this is something that we'll do today that I'm very much looking forward to. Clearing facades is something that we've done sometimes, not that often though. But I mean, you can find videos if you search Janet Wright clear facades. A facade is like a false wall, right? So facades in your space is like you kind of put up this false wall of like, it's like a message that you want other people to see of like, you know, I'm a neat and tidy person. I'm a responsible person. I am always on time. You know, I take this job very seriously, you know, like whatever you want to be sure that people observe about you, you know, and they're really not, they're a very depleting, exhausting way to communicate and exist in the world. I mean, I don't know why, they just are. It's like it just takes a lot of energy to kind of hold up that. It's like you're always holding up this signboard. You know, it's just not natural for people to have facades. So like you put in subconsciously, you put a lot of energy into maintaining that. So the opposite of having facades is being authentic, where you just, I am what I am. You see what you see. That's it. You know, it doesn't mean that you don't care about people's perception of you. It just means that you understand that one way or another, people are going to perceive you. I mean, observant people will perceive. And that's my point that I'm trying to make right now. I'm like sidling up to very slowly. Is that facades don't really work. I mean, they'll work for like the most gullible people. And there are gullible people in the world, but they don't work for enough people. There are enough people that are observant enough that can see right by the facade, behind the facade. And furthermore, they kind of like notice like the fakeness of that facade. And so it kind of draws their attention even to the baggage that's hidden behind the facade. So you kind of look fake, you know, to more observant people, you know, and it's subconscious, you know, often it's subconscious, but it can be conscious. Someone's like, yeah, they're totally fake, you know, you're full of shit, you know. But it can be subconscious too, where people perceive, you know, another person's insecurities or whatever, even though there's like this beautiful facade in front of the baggage. So in past, we have just cleared facades that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And that does free up a lot of energy. So it's kind of cool. It makes you more present and more flowing. And it actually lowers your stress, ironically. Just because facades are so like, it's such a depleting, exhausting way to exist, you know, that it's just like, it's a relief. But what we're going to do today is we're going to clear the baggage that you're trying to hide behind the facades, the baggage that's healthy and gentle to clear right now. And then the facades just automatically melt away. And I think that puts the emphasis in a more productive place, because the reason you have a facade oftentimes is because there's baggage you don't want people to see. And so that's why sometimes you have like people in society that are kind of hardcore about something, and then turns out, you know, they really have issues with that same thing that they're supposedly so perfect about and trying to police everyone else on, you know. So anyway, we're going to clear the baggage that's healthy and gentle to clear, but you're like really invested in trying to hide it from people, that you have a facade over it, you know, in front of it. And we'll clear that baggage. And a lot of that is emotional baggage, which is how it's relevant for this theme and why it sort of came to my attention now. But I think we're not going to limit it to just second layer, second chakra baggage. But a lot of it will be, you know, emotional baggage that we're clearing, but it'll just be any baggage that's healthy and gentle to clear, but nevertheless, you're trying to hide it behind a facade. And then we'll clear that, and the facades melt away by themselves after that. And it just, it makes you more present, more flowing, and just more comfortable with yourself and more comfortable with other people, because other people are observant, whether you want them to be or not. So it can help you be more comfortable as you communicate with people and interact with people. Which, you know, to tie it back to the facade, the sexuality discussion that I had a few minutes ago, that we had a few minutes ago, is I was noticing, you know, that part of what can be triggering, you know, when someone's trying to have a sexual experience with somebody else is the emotional baggage behind the facades, you know, because it's like sex is a very close thing, you know, and so I think it's possible for some people to have a sexual experience with someone where they're spiritually, it's not really a sharing of information and vulnerability, but I think for most people, there is like a deeper level of observing and interacting. And so if there's so much emotional baggage that you're trying not to see and you're trying not to have other people see, it can really just shut off your appreciation of a sexual experience, because it's just exhausting. You're trying to make sure they don't notice this and this and this and this, and that you don't notice this and this and this about, you know, whatever emotional baggage you have. So anyway, bottom line, the facade work I think will also help sexuality and just enjoyment, like of music, enjoying, because I wanted to mention that, you know, being able to dance to a song you like music appreciation, really enjoying music, can be like, it's on the continuum of emotions and sexuality. You know, I think it's part of the whole thing. So, because I think sometimes people only have this goal in their mind, like, I want to have great orgasms. I want to really, really have as much pleasure as possible sexually in orgasms with someone else, you know, and that's their ultimate goal. And they don't think about, you know, okay, but then there's sexual interaction just with yourself, you know, like with, you know, that's why God made batteries. You know, you can have sexuality with yourself, sexual experiences with yourself, potentially, if you want. And, you know, doesn't mean you're not a good girl or whatever. Screw being a good girl. But then there's, you know, enjoying music that's, you know, more like kind of sexual. You know, music can be sexual, can be emotional, can be cathartic, can be whatever, you know. And so music appreciation, I would say, is part of the whole thing, you know. So if you notice that you're enjoying music more, that's still a step forward in the whole thing, you know. But anyway, blah blah blah. Hope that makes sense. But clearing baggage behind facades is quick and easy, despite the fact that I just discussed it for 20 minutes. So it'll be good. So 7th to 8th chakra connection, repair and unblock it. We do that from time to time. And I just thought that would be good to do right now. So we'll do it. It'll be quick and easy, but it's cool. Your 8th chakra is above you, above the top of your aura, and it's an energy center of yours, and it's part of your higher self, you would say. So it's like it has wisdom and healing energy from that you've gained from past life experiences, and it's a gold flowy connection between your 7th chakra and in the top of your head and your 8th chakra. And so you unblock it and repair it so that you get more of your calming, healing energy and wisdom and sort of big picture knowledge continually, if it's in good shape. If the connection is in good shape. Okay, so this is a repeat of something we did 3 days ago in the Sunday healing, and I read people that felt their surveys and the post healing surveys, and you don't have to mention this specifically. I can just read if that particular technique helped a lot or not, and it did help a lot for people. Basically, you're clearing baggage that would trigger if you were to bring in a lot more of your energy. Generally calling it back from, it could be bringing in new energy that you made on the astral with your angels, but we were targeting, like, because you can call back energy from, like, you know, like say a sibling or a bully parent, whoever, they took some of your confidence energy maybe, or some of your dreams and goals, or some of your whatever, you know, you can call it back. But sometimes people only call back like a teeny bit, even though on one level they really, really want to take back all their stuff. But then it's like they're not doing it because they're tiptoeing around certain inner wounds and inner baggage that they have. But if you just clear that junk, then you can call back more. So I typically saw that people cleared about, people brought back in about 3 times as much as they would have normally if we hadn't done this clearing callback baggage. So it's a big deal. So I saw that it could help again if we did it again. So we're gonna do. So, okay, so we're not doing this next technique or two again today for various reasons, but I just want to mention that it was helpful just for your information in case you wanted to repeat it on your own. The callback, innocence, and courage, and melt shame was pretty huge for people. I just don't think we need to do it again. Like I said, it's like sometimes, you do something for a little bit and then you do something different and that makes more progress, and then you do something different and that makes more, it's like doing the same thing all the time. Sometimes you just don't get as much benefit that way. So I think this is one of those things where, but I did want to say though, that this clear callback innocence and courage and melt shame did seem to help people a bunch. It seemed like people were more, like it sort of helped people to turn on more of their, in some cases, more of their sexuality, or just more of their feminine energy or masculine energy, more of their like sort of natural attractiveness, sort of turn back on because of it. So it's just like it's sort of a bouncy joy, kind of ingredient. I think it's an ingredient for sort of joie de vivre, joyfulness, is the innocence and the courage and melting shame. So just wanted to say, but we're not going to do it today, but it's good stuff. And it was in the last 2 healings. All right. I think that's all I want to say before the healing. I'm going to take a look at the pre-healing chat comments before I start. Thank you, everybody, for your little chat greetings. Oh, if you could give the live stream a thumbs up. That and chat comments help the YouTube algorithm to think like, oh, okay, it's actually decent. So YouTube is more likely to suggest it to others if there's thumbs up and comments. So thank you very much. Up. All right, we can hear you. Thank you. Hey, Janet, I can hear and see you from sunny, hot Las Vegas, 107 degrees and sunny. Oh, wow. That's quite hot. I hope you have like 5. I hope you have a dozen different ways to stay cool in that weather. I don't know how you do it. Hi from Chicago, 81 Fahrenheit and sunny. That's more workable. Hope you're enjoying it. Someone says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you from foggy San Francisco, 64 degrees Fahrenheit in San Francisco, California. Hello to you. Someone says, hello, Janet, can see and hear you very well. Around 80 degrees Fahrenheit today. I can definitely feel autumn approaching. Don't say that. Ba, 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 ba. Autumn is not approaching. I was just telling my husband yesterday that for me, I consider I like sort of rock the summer vibes as long as I possibly can. Like when the first frost comes, then I'm like, okay, fine. It's not summer anymore. So it can be like officially fall and I'll still be like, summer, 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 summer. And the garden does kind of accommodate that because I have a bunch of flowering plants that flower up until the frost, smacks down the plant. So yeah. I think people with kids, maybe it's more of a thing, because like their kids go back to school like in late August or something. So that seems like autumny for them. But even the calendar doesn't say that summer's over till like September 20th or something, or September 21st, something like that. So, but I always tack on an extra month to that. So I'm very much still rocking summer. Plus, a lot of times in the garden, like my stuff is like kind of running a little late. So, like we got our first major green bean harvest. We had it in our dinner last night, which, someday maybe I'll have my first green bean harvest in mid-July and not mid-August, but I'll take it. So cool. Anyway, okay. It says, hi, Janet. It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny in Portland, Oregon, which is not that far from me. I accidentally left my monstera outside too long and leaves got burnt. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I hope you can help it recover. It says, in the past, you've mentioned many times how we may just turn our sexuality off. You could if you want. People do sometimes, you know, maybe just accidentally, subconsciously, you know, but you could turn it back on though. It doesn't have to stay off, is the thing. Anyway, you're saying, does that happen because of the internal baggage or the external energy or both? Yes. It would depend on the person. There's not a rule. But yeah, I think more often it's not on purpose. The only time I could see maybe it's more like closer to being on purpose. I mean, I guess some people do really choose, like, I want to be asexual, period, you know? And so in that case, it's a conscious on purpose thing. But I think sometimes people do it, like, say if, you know, they're single and they don't feel like being single is fun or anything, or, you know, maybe they have a lot of pain and loneliness, and so they get stuck on that, and so they don't want to enjoy sexuality by themselves, even though that can be really fun. Or maybe they do have a partner, and that partner has decided to turn their sexuality off, in which case, like, they would have to go solo and enjoy their sexuality on their own, and maybe, like, they can't wrap their brain around that because they're like, well, I'm married. It should be with my partner because I'm married, you know? So that could be why someone might turn their sexuality off. And again, maybe not consciously on purpose, kind of, but maybe a little bit on purpose, you know, just because they don't want to, like, they don't want to feel like they're missing out if their partner's all shut off sexually. So they might just, you know, shut off their own, so they don't feel like they're missing anything. But they don't have to. They could, over time, you know, wake it back up and then just have really good showers or something. Or, you know, really good alone time. in the last healing. Oh my god, it's so funny because I was like, so I think if I recall, I was so tired when I finally finished working the video, like, the healing summary and the survey and the video title. And so I put in the video title, I put spicy time instead of sexuality, because I had already said sexuality, like, at the start of the video title, you know, emotion, sexuality. But at the end, I wanted to say, you know, like, unblocking sexuality, but saying sexuality twice in the title doesn't make sense. So then I just wrote unblocking spicy time or something like that. Oh, I love that expression. It's so silly. Spicy time. So you can have solo spicy time. It is possible. And there's that. Anyway. But yeah, so it would depend on the person. I mean, in your case, if you're asking about yourself, I don't know, you can maybe ask later. I mean, make your read on it though. Post your read on it first, and then I would, you know, give you feedback on that. If you wanted, you know, you could post that at the end of the healing. Someone says hello from, or you can post under the video at any time. But, you know, since you're not a newbie, just post your read on the situation first, and then then when I have time, I would post a reply. Your video comment. Hello from Ottawa, Canada. Breezy today, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Breezy is nice. Can be nice. I've been feeling good. Getting a headache whack right now. We'll clean it up while I make tea and listen to you. Well, that sounds like a good plan. Someone says the new colorful section where you type what you're talking about is so much better for the eyes, so thank you. Yeah, my brain must be similar to yours because you have no idea how pleasant that is for me to have that little bottom section, the back, having a backdrop to the text. Like my mind is at so much more at peace now. It would really bother my mind to like not have the text show up really well against certain images in the background and everything. So I'm just like, it took me like freaking 3 minutes to do it, like before the stream started. But I've wanted to do it for like ever. But see, that's how you know like you're clearing mental blocks. Because like something's bothering you for freaking ever and you finally take care of it. And it was not hard to take care of in the first place, but you didn't do it before. You know, that's how you know you're making progress, because it's like, okay, I must have cleared something to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm glad it helps your brain too. It so helps my brain. Very funny. I'm sure some people, it doesn't matter to them one way or another. Everybody's brain works differently. Someone says hello, Janet and everyone. In 109 degrees in sunny Las Vegas. Yeah. Well, stay cool. Beverage moment. Someone says hello from DC, Washington, DC, the capital of the United States. God help them. We have a thunderstorm here. Been a wet summer. Interesting. Yeah. We actually did have rain, which we never have rain. We had rain like, what was it, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? Some of my flowers went like, blah. And it wasn't even that big a rain. And then we're supposed to have considerable rain later this week, which is like completely unheard of. But it's good though, because there are like some fires in our area. Like not super far away. There's like one fire, probably like, if I had to guess, maybe a half-hour drive from me. And it's like 7 acres, this fire, and it's still spreading. They haven't contained it yet. I mean, they're working on it, but because things get so hot and then a fire starts either naturally or some really uncool person, and then it's really hard to put out sometimes. So then the rain will be good for that. So I'm looking forward to the additional safety from the rain. Someone says, LOL, I used to have severe depression episodes in between the sessions. Oh, the healings, yeah. But with these healings, I don't feel any discomfort related to this anymore. Oh, in between the seasons. I'm sorry. I was like, wait, that doesn't quite make sense. Used to have severe depression episodes in between the seasons. But with these healings, I don't feel discomfort related to this anymore. Good, good, good. Yeah, you must have cleared some baggage. Awesome. You're a rock star. Okie doke. So, I'm not going to put up 3 minutes of quiet on the banner yet, because I need to be quiet when that banner's up. So, but anyway, we will do 3 minutes of quiet where I just chill out and finish my prep and say hi non-verbally to the people that I'll be healing. And then after the 3 minutes of quiet, I will start the healing. I mean, towards the end of that, you'll see me start the healing, and then the rest of the time I'll be talking out loud as I heal. So you can use it as a self-healing walkthrough if you want. If you've purchased the healing, you don't have to heal yourself at the same time, although a lot of people get like way more out of the experience by healing themselves at the same time, like and watching live. But plenty of people, more than, if I had to guess, maybe like, you know, probably more than like maybe 90% of the people don't watch live each time, just because, you know, people work, people do all sorts of things. But it could be extra cool to watch live and heal yourself as you watch, or just you know, listen live and clean your house or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And a quick sales note too. So my website is jwhealing.com. You can purchase upcoming sets of healings. Anybody can, even if you've never worked with me before, even though you don't consider yourself knowledgeable about energy healing. Doesn't matter. To receive a healing, you don't need to know anything. I do tend to work with people who want to learn energy healing on themselves. So therefore they, you know, watch the video later, at least parts of it, to learn and practice on themselves. But it's not necessary, you know, even if you just want the healing and you don't want to learn, that's okay too. But anyway, the sets of healings are on sale on my website, jwhealing.com, and it's sliding scale. So you pick a rate. If you can't afford the standard rate, you could pick a lower rate to make it affordable for you. So there's that. And in 2 months, it's October, even though I am not totally okay with that. So October sets will be up for sale on my website in just 2 days. Which I'm saying out loud over and over so that I remember to put them up in 2 days. But in 2 days, October sets will go up on my website. And I will be emailing my news email list to people so they realize that on the 15th. But every month it happens on the 15th. So there's that. Okay. Enough talking. So now we will have glorious quiet for 3 minutes before the healing starts. Okay, so hand chakras. You have one in the palm of each hand. You have a fingertip chakra in each fingertip. They have the basic chakra shape, which is an open cylinder, except they're not that giant. So round opening, round opening, round opening, round opening. So the energy comes out the hands this way, fountains out. Even if you didn't know you have chakras, they're still there. And you set them, these particular chakras, you set with your intention or your thought to be a metallic gold color. And so therefore the energy they're generating as they spin is that metallic gold color. And that's a good vibration to use for healing and self-healing because it's fast moving, but not too fast. So it'll help you repair and release and let go, unblock. So you can make a copy out in front of you of your everything, really. All your auras and your physical body and your astral body are inside there. And then your groundings. You have 2 groundings to connect you to the core of the earth. And you can comb through the whole thing. Gold light. You can generate more gold light by unblocking your hands. Now I just wash one out with the other. So use the gold light from one hand to unblock the other. And you can also do this with a copy so that you can heal your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your wrists, elbows, all at once. So you just imagine a copy out in front of you of your head, shoulders, upper chest, arms, your hands, your fingers. And just keep healing it with gold light from your hands. And you don't have to be able to see the copy. You can just think it or use your intention or imagination. It's all the same thing. And there's that expression, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, which is not something you want to do. So you can just see, do you have a lot of blocks sitting on your shoulders? And if so, if you have any, you can just melt them with gold light. Your hands. Or you can just take off that heaviness and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? Take off the heaviness from your shoulders. Angels, can you help me with this? You may have energy leaks. Like back here is a common place for energy leaks. So you can just because there should be energy coming out of your 4th chakra right here, out into your 4th layer of your aura, and then it wraps around and goes back in the front of your 4th chakra, and then energy coming out of your 5th chakra into your 5th layer that wraps around and goes back into the front of your 5th chakra, front of your throat. But having energy just like spurting out of your shoulders like that, that's not supposed to happen. That's energy leaking. So you can just check for that in like the sides of your neck and the back and top of your shoulders, and just use lots of gold light and pop out any hard objects you're stuck in there, have them explode. And you could say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? And then do the other side of your neck, your shoulders, the top and front and back of your shoulders. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way, can you recycle them? And then pop out any hard objects, have them destroy. All right, good enough. So we'll do grounding a little bit more. So you could recreate both your groundings, make them both the same color, red or orange or yellow, whatever shade you fancy at the moment. And you make a copy out in front of you of your groundings. And use gold light from your hands to melt the blocks. And you might think, well, I don't know where the blocks are, Janet. Well, just use your thought or your intention. You sweep together the blocks all into one place, and then use so much gold light that they melt. Sweep together the blocks, so much gold light that they. You can use your intuition too. Does your grounding stay wide and flowing the whole way down? Because a lot of times, especially if you feel more stressed what happened is your grounding is maybe wide at the start, maybe it's this wide at the start, but then like a little bit down, it like cinches in and gets really skinny on the way down, and skinny is not good for grounding. So you can just keep healing it till it spreads out again so that you have a nice big wide grounding for yourself. You want to be able to just let go of whatever is not you in your. So having a nice big wide flowing grounding makes that much more efficient and helps with clearing your mind. All right. Indie grounding is where you use gold light from your hands and you go along the outer surface of your grounding and you melt away any connections to other people's groundings. And if there are any hard objects, you pop them out, let them explode as they pop out. And you may have somebody sitting in your grounding that you feel like maybe it's a little awkward to wash them out of your grounding, but I just wanted to point out that you're using gold light, right? So you are healing the person, you're just clearing them out at the same time. So just whatever like respected person that's in your grounding, just use lots of gold light and say, angels, can you please bless this person? So that, you know, you're extra blessing them and healing them as you clean them out of your grounding. Angels, can you bless this person? You still clean them out of your grounding. So it's not like, you don't have to respect them by keeping them in your space. Angels, can you please bless and help this person? How about that? All right, good job, good job. See what glitter looks like. All right. Okay, so you have 17 auras. Your astral body aura, your physical body aura, and then 15 auras called Wei Chi auras. Weichi. Wei Chi is strong boundaries energy. Traditional Chinese medicine concept. So all those auras, they all, you know, ideally are nice and wide. This wide, all the way around, right? So stretch out your arms and they're that wide. Right, so you can comb through all those auras, make a copy out in front of you, comb through all of them. And you're searching with your intuition or your vision or your feeling or all of the above for rips. Any rips. You may have rips in the top, maybe by your belly, maybe by your eyes, maybe by the back of your head. Sorts of possibilities. And you could repair them just by combing through them with gold light, clean them out enough, and then they start growing back the more gold light you use. But let's repair them all at once just to be time efficient. And it's also useful if you don't know, you don't sort of like, either you have too many in all sorts of places and you don't have a lot of time, or you're a newbie and maybe you don't trust your perception to read exactly where the rip is. Then this technique is nice for that. So you just make an image of a rip and make it your composite copy rip. So that means you say with your intention, okay, this rip represents all the rips in all my auras. And then as you repair this rip, you're repairing all those rips, right? So make your composite copy rip, and then we're going to clean it out and then keep using gold light to repair. So clean it out with sticky gold wax from your hands, and that'll stick to whatever's not you. So sticky gold wax, have it form a big lump, all that junk that's not you. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk from the rip. Angels, here you go. So what does this sticky gold wax stick to that's not you? Well, hard objects that people threw there that made the rip in the first place. Invasive people, invasive beings. So just sticky gold wax, make a big lump of junk. Lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. So now you still have the rip, composite copy rip, and you want to get the gold light deep enough so that it starts repairing. Rip. Maybe there's still a couple hard objects. Angels, here you go. And you can say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings still in the way of this repair, can you recycle them, please? Okay, so we'll do that one more time in case you have any leftover rips. So make a composite copy rip, say, okay, well, this represents my leftover rip. And do the same process. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings still in the way of this healing? All right, good job. So just check the outer surface of your auras. You can have a little leftover hardness there on the outer surface or a couple layers of like patches inside of your auras of leftover hardness. You can just make a big pile out in front of you of copies of all your leftover aura hardness and melt it with cold light. Because hardness in your auras makes them weaker, makes them tear more easily if someone throws energy at you. So just melt all that. So make a big pile out in front of you, put all your aura hardness there. You could say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this stuff, can you recycle them? And then you can melt the people's cords out, melt everybody's energy out of this aura hardness. You can redo your gold buffer zones. Those are buffers of flowy gold light that you make, that you put on the edge of your astral body aura and your physical body aura. You can recreate them just in a moment once you kind of get the hang of it. And that helps to slow the rate of aura damage. Because someone has to hack through that to get to damage your aura. So keep remaking your buffer zones. All right. Okay, so we will do chakra repair after this, but I'll throw in some chakra unblocking of just the major chakras while we do this step. Creative rings, repair and unblock. Towards the end of this, we'll just unblock all the major chakras along the spine. But so your creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. They generate gold light. If they're functioning properly, they generate a lot of gold light. And that gold light becomes a nice protective force field right up here. And it also gets sent down to all your major chakras. It helps them be healthy. So you can make a copy out in front of you of your 3 creative rings and just use lots of gold light. You want to relax them, melt cords from other people. There could be invasive beings messing with them. So you just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with my ring? You can have hard objects stuck in your creative rings. Maybe someone threw a hard object and your aura was already ripped, so it got all the way through to your creative rings and it's sticking right there. So you can just use sticky gold wax and put it all around your creative rings and have the wax stick to any hard objects, anything that's not you. And then just lift the wax out with all that junk and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, sticky gold wax, your 3 creative rings. Lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. And you can do more repair. So creative rings can get irritated, just like chakras. They'll have flaps on the outer part of the ring, just like chakras have flaps on the outer surface of each round opening. And so this is what they look like when they're irritated. When they're irritated, they stick open like that. And it just makes it easier for other people to cord you too, or invasive beings, other invasive beings to cord you. So if you melt the cords and melt enough blocks, then these flaps fall shut. And so it's a nice smooth outer surface with none of this sticking out. And that's better, because then it's not impossible for people to damage and cord you, but it's harder because it's like in a nice healthy state. So your energy then can go through your rings, but it's harder for people to sink a pair of cords in and sort of mess with you. So check for flaps as you work your creative rings. And sometimes you have excuse me, I should have muted the mic when I did that. Sorry. Sometimes you have some blocks that sort of wedge one of the flaps open. So you can just imagine, like, if you can't see that, just imagine like, okay, well, this is a part of my creative rings that, you know, the flaps are kind of wedged open, and just use so much gold light that the whatever's sort of jamming the flap open melts away. So the flap can fall shut. All right. And so then we can keep repairing and unblocking. Well, we can keep on blocking. Let's just imagine the 3 creative rings and then the 7 major chakras beneath it. Really, you have 2 sets of 7 chakras. So your astral body 7 chakras along your astral body spine, and your physical body 7 chakras along your physical body spine. So 7th chakra is oriented this way, right? But it's much smaller and it's in the top of your head. And then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 are oriented this way with round opening in the front and round opening in the back. So you don't really have to see in that level of detail if that blows your mind. But if it's okay with you, then you just make your copy like that with creative rings, and then 7th chakra is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can imagine the astral ones in the physical ones if that's the way it is, if you're that present. So if you're like halfway present, maybe 2 and 1 are like next to each other, then you're not in your 2nd chakra, isn't in your physical 2nd chakra at the moment. It doesn't matter. I mean, but if you want, you can see like an exact level of how present you are right now. So if you're in your 7th chakra, then this astral 7th fits fully into the physical 7th. If you're in your 6th chakra, then your astral 6th chakra fits fully into the physical 6th chakra. And on down. But anyway, sticky gold wax the whole thing. Astral and physical 7 chakras and your creative ring. So sticky gold wax all of it, and have the wax stick to everything that's not you, that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. Then move out the wax and the junk and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Breath. One more time. Sticky gold wax your rings and your 7 and 7. Astral 7 and physical 7. Wax all that. Have it stick to whatever is healthy and gentle to get rid of. Move it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. All right, good job. Good job, good job. Woohoo! You're a rock star. Okay, so we're going to repair all chakras at the same time, all major and minor chakras at the same time. And then after that, we'll just do the worst chakras, the ones that are still in need of more work. We'll do only those. But first, all of them. So you make a chakra shape out in front of you. This is the basic chakra shape. It's open cylinder. So make an image of a chakra and just say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras, all my major and minor chakras in my body and my spirit. So that includes acupuncture points, which are chakras, all sorts of cool chakras you have. So use gold light and melt cords from other people, melt away baggage that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. You can make a red grounding from the core of the earth going all the way up to this composite copy chakra, and soak your composite copy chakra in red earth energy and gold light. You can comb out the blocks and just melt them away with gold light. Comb out the blocks, melt them away with gold light. You say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are in the way of this repair and unblocking? And again, like I said, there are flaps around the round opening. You want to melt cords and unblock to the point where the flaps fall shut. So it's just like this nice smooth round opening without flaps sticking out. So just a nice smooth round opening. So to keep melting cords. And you can lift out the baggage and melt it away. Lift out the baggage, melt it away. Out the baggage, melt it away. You can lift out the baggage and blow it up too if you're healing yourself. Lift out the baggage, melt it away. All right, and so that was all chakras at the same time. So now we'll do just your worst chakras. So it's the exact same process. It's just that your composite copy is different. You make a composite copy and have it represent only the worst chakras, the ones that still need work, considerable work. So like they're cracked or damaged still, or they're still blocked. And just use lots of gold light. You could do like a tricolor soak with these ones: red earth energy, orange earth energy, yellow earth energy. So you bring it up straight from the core of the earth and soak it in these colors of earth energy. Lots of gold light. And lift out the baggage, melt it away, lift it out. And if you're healing yourself, you could blow it up. Lift out the baggage, melt it away with gold light. Angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with this healing, can you recycle them? All right, good job, good job. Woohoo. Okay, so now all this stuff back here. So good karma windows, that's that GKW. And those are part of you as a spirit, your astral body aura. So you have 7 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each one is a triple frame window in the back layers of your astral body aura, one for each layer. And so the triple frame window, that looks like this roughly. But it's each one is a different color, whatever your energy is in that aura layer. But so just comb through all your good karma windows and melt away anything that's not you. Use gold light, repair and unblock. You can have people just keeping their energy here, and that's not necessary. It could be just for you. So use lots of gold light and just melt people away. You're not necessarily melting them out of your life. Don't worry. It's just melting them out of this area of your. You can have people or invasive beings that kind of wind their way through the windows if they're damaged enough, and then anchor into your upper chakras or your base of skull points, those little chakras. So you can imagine anything that's not you coming through this area and just freeze it up and freeze the part of it that's anchored into your upper chakras and just lift it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So it's like you're weeding in a garden. You want to get the weed and the roots. So you just sort of grab onto whatever's not you there and freeze it and drag it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. And then do a little extra repair now that you've cleaned that out more. So base of skull points. Hmm. Okay, so base of skull points are there, those two rows of points, one at the level of the top of the earlobe, one at the level of the bottom of the earlobe, and those dots, those are chakras. So each one is like this, an open cylinder, and the energy flows through it in the meridian, and the job is for it to generate energy and keep it flowing nicely. Check out each one, make them use gold light to relax the chakra and repair it so that it can do its job. And you can comb through all those points and outward into the auras, like this way, comb through and outward, and just gather up anything that's not you, that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. Right, so comb through the base of skull area and outward, gather up all the junk. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? Deep breath. And then, so then it's just a bunch of energy blocks with probably some people cording them. So just melt away the cords from people, melt everyone's energy out of there. And push your own energy out and just let the blocks melt away fully. You can blow up. We can also, not only just as we're unblocking this area of base of skull area, we could do like upper back and shoulders and your whole head at the same time. So it doesn't have to be just this area, like, because you could have blocks that are bigger, that, like a big crusty block that's goes from your upper shoulders all the way up here. So we'll just comb through a bigger area. So your whole head and your whole upper body, let's say, and just comb through. Drag out the junk. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? And then just melt the cords from people. And then melt the block fully. Okay, so comb through your entire upper body, including base of skull area. Drag out all the junk that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings? So much gold light that you're washing everybody out. You melt the blocks. Couple deep breaths. So GV 15 to 20. GV stands for governing vessel meridian. And so it's in that diagram right there, it is the gray, it's gray in the diagram. And it's the midline one that goes up the middle of the spine area and over the head, over the top of the head, ends in the roof of the mouth. Starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back and hooks around. So we're just going to heal this part of it that you can see in the diagram. So GV20 is that point right at the top of the head, in the top of the head. So at that point, you know, it's like when it's going up the back, then the energy centers are oriented this way, but the energy centers, you know, they fit in the meridian. So by the top of the meridian, as it's going here, the GV20 is oriented this way. So it's much smaller than the seventh chakra, which is oriented this way in the exact same location. They're both cool to heal and repair. So you can just lift out any blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of from GV 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Lift out those blocks, melt them away with cold light. Lift out GV 15 to 20 blocks, melt them away with cold light. Lift them out, melt them away with cold light. The peripheral blocks, I had talked about the core areas of the auras. Those are the ones that are closest to your body. And then the peripheral areas, they're not less important. They're just further out from the core area. So there's the core area and then the peripheral areas. So peripheral blocks are actually extra helpful to clear because then that takes pressure off these inner core blocks. So then they're easier to clear. So as we work GV 15 to 20, we do want to work the auras immediately around 15 to 20. So those core blocks impacting GV 15 to 20, but we could even start with the peripheral blocks. So the blocks that are further out from GV 15 to 20. So GV 15 to 20, core blocks would be here, peripheral blocks would be here, all the way around. So peripheral blocks impacting GV 15 to 20, just run gold light through them. The angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this stuff, can you recycle them? Melt people's cords out of these blocks. Again, peripheral blocks that impact GV 15 to 20. And then core blocks that impact GV 15 to 20. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings? So much gold light that the block. Couple deep breaths. Wiggle your hips, wiggle your toes. All right, great job, great job. Woo-hoo. So that concludes the 5 essentials, which we do in every healing: grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and good karma window stuff. Okay, so I talked about this in the intro discussion. It came up as far as sexuality, that somebody said they were taught that good girls don't touch themselves. Then I said, of course, good girls should be free to touch themselves as much as they damn well please. And, you know, furthermore, why accept the title good girl or bad girl? Why not just do what you do and not accept judgments? However, many people were raised with a lot of judgments. That's part of how I guess people teach their kids. They say, well, good people don't do that. You know, that's not what good people do, or you should be a good boy, you should be a good girl. So while some of that teaching may be more positive and helpful than negative, depending on the parent and how it's delivered and information and all that, it could be that you have a lot of leftover sort of brain chips from this life or past lives about what good girls do or what good boys do, or what, you know, what makes you a bad girl or a good girl or a bad boy or a bad girl or bad good boy, whatever. Now let's clear all that shit out. That way you could just choose, you know, what suits you, what goes, what harmonizes with your own personal moral decisions and the way you want to live your life. So that was explaining. Let's do it. Oops, that was explaining. Okay. Oh, I suppose I could put that too. Not as enjoyable. Okay, fine. So, make a big old blanket out in front of you. Put onto it any garbage you have from other people about what a good girl is, what a bad girl is, what a bad boy is, what a bad girl is, good boy is, all that junk from this life or past lives, you know, anybody else's ideas of morality or propriety. I mean, it won't make you unaware of what society thinks. It just won't make you like controlled. So just put all that out in front of you and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath while your angels check the pile. And then you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then you can use lots of cold light and melt away cords from people going into this stuff. It could be the very people that taught you this stuff are still corded to it. So you can melt their cords out, melt their energy out so that it's more gradual for them. So they're not like, because if they're in it and you blow it up, it's a little, I mean, technically they get their energy back, so it's fine. But some people that are very sensitive might be jarred by that. So wash them out first. Melt the cords, wash people out, and then you can go ahead and melt the baggage or blow it up. All right, good job, good job. Let's do that again. Take a big old blanket out in front of you, put onto it any morality judgments, any sort of, you know, other people's version of what is good or bad, what you should do or you shouldn't do. Maybe, you know, because you're a girl or because you're a boy, or just because you're a certain age, or, you know, you're a certain race or whatever, you know, everybody's rules about you. And just say, angels, can you, is this healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then you can go ahead and ask your angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then use lots of cold light and melt people out of this junk. Melt their cords and just keep melting people's energy out of all this junk. And then you can just blow it all up or melt it away. Light. All right, good job, good job. Oh, there you go. Woo-hoo. Good job, good job. All right. Okay, so this is a repeat from doing it 3 days ago, but it's good to do. And I think it'll help us get more out of the techniques that follow. So we'll do it again. So go ahead and make a big gold blanket out in front of you and put onto it any baggage that is making you more tentative, like in a non-beneficial way for yourself, like making you reluctant to call back a bunch of your power and creativity and joy and abundance, because, whatever, you don't want to feel certain baggage that you might feel if you were way more present, right? It's easier just to clear that baggage so that then you can bring back more good stuff. That's, healthy and gentle, right? So just put all that baggage out in front of you. Anything that makes you hesitant to call back your good stuff that's healthy and gentle, right? So put onto it the blanket any of your callback baggage, anything making you reluctant to become more powerful, more capable, more funny, more, amused, more sexually gratified, more, whatever, more better sleeping, right? So just put all that callback hesitancy baggage out in front of you and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath while your angels double check. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. So then now you can go ahead and clear all of it, but it's a little more gentle for others if you just wash everybody out of it first. So you melt away cords, use gold light from your hands, melt away cords going into this pile from other people, wash their energy out of the pile. Then you can fully melt the pile with gold light from your hands, or you can blow up the pile. And you could imagine confetti when you blows up into pretty confetti and then fully dissolves or just blows up. Deep breath. All right, good job. Okay, so now we're going to do something that I also explained. It has its own chapter explaining before the healing. We're going to clear baggage behind facades. And because facades don't work, and so the more perceptive people are going to see behind them anyway and possibly cord your baggage, and you're kind of almost making it a little more obvious that this baggage is there anyway. And it just takes way too much energy to maintain a facade the whole time, like, oh, I'm really perfect this way or this way, So we're just going to clear the baggage behind the facades that is healthy and gentle to clear right now. And that way the facade can melt away and you don't have to exhaust yourself maintaining this fakeness. I hope that makes sense. Let's do it. Do it. Okay. So it's actually super easy. So what you do, we're just going to imagine some baggage, however much. You may be feeling really present and so you want to do more at once, or maybe you just want to do one little pile at once. It's up to you. But you imagine a bunch of baggage behind facades. So it could be like, 4 piles of baggage and then there's the 4 facades. Each one is a little fake wall in front of it. And you don't have to read what they are. That's the good part, right? And so just start running gold light through this. We could call it facade baggage or hidden baggage, right? And just use lots of gold light. And as you run gold light through it, just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then just keep using lots of gold light and melt that baggage away. So it's all gone. And then the facades tend to automatically melt away, but if they don't, you can just use extra gold light and melt all the facades. All right, good job. So now you can just run gold light up and down your spine, run gold light through your groundings, run gold light through all your auras, especially in back and on top. Okay, so we're going to do that again. And baggage behind facades, you could say hidden baggage, because it's like fake hidden. It's not really hidden from most people. So you can just imagine all the bunches of hidden baggage that you want to clear at one time, and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? You have like all the different piles and all the different facades in front of them, supposedly hiding the baggage. That's not really hiding it from most people. And then say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then just use lots of gold light, melt everybody out of this hidden baggage. And just melt all the baggage. Or you could blow it all up. And then just, if any of the facades are still there, just run gold light through them, wash everybody out of them so that they fully melt. And if any of them are still there, you can blow them up. So a couple deep breaths. And you can reassure yourself because, sometimes there is still a part of you, maybe a teeny part of you that's like, oh, I feel so vulnerable and imperfect now, because my facade is gone. So you can just, maybe give yourself a little hug, on a mental level or literal or both, and just say, something like, I love and accept myself, or, I need to be myself. I am okay. I am good enough the way I am. I love myself just the way I am. Some kind of comforting, reassuring. Because you just made yourself a lot stronger, but like I said, there may be part of you that, just needs a little nurturing to come along. So we didn't do that many times. We did like 2 rounds of it, but I think that's good for now. So you can definitely do that more on your own if you want. So good job, good job. You are amazing. Woohoo. All right. So let's do this. So proactive clearing is where you're using your intuition, your future intuition, as well as angel help to put forward and clear a healthy and gentle amount of energy blocks that you already have within you that could get in the way or slow your growth or dull your enjoyment in the next 6 months, so that if you clear them, it'll just be an easier path forward. And specifically for the next 6 months, just it's just a good quantity of time to work at once. But you could do it for a longer period of time or a shorter period of time if you choose to. But I'll do 6. Okay, so let's do it. So you could make a blanket out in front of you, or just big old blanket out in front of you, or just make piles without the blanket and put onto it any baggage that's going to get in your way in the next 6 months that you have already, right? So put all that baggage, and you don't have to know what's going to happen in the next 6 months consciously at all. This is a spirit level intention, future intuition type thing, right? So put all that baggage that's going to get in your way in the next 6 months that is healthy and gentle to clear right now out in front of you, and say, angels, can you double check my piles? That way they will help you to make sure that's healthy and gentle clear right now. And then also you can ask your angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? Because invasive beings can make some drama, and we don't want that. That way the angels will recycle them. So then now it's just a bunch of baggage of yours, and people might be courting that baggage. So you could bring up red earth energy and soak all that baggage with red earth energy. That helps get your energy and other people's energy out of it. And you can also use gold light from your hands to melt cords from people going into this baggage. So melt all the cords, melt everybody's energy out of the baggage, and then you could just blow up all the baggage and fully dissolve it that way, or you could just keep using gold light until it fully dissolves. And if there's any left over that isn't dissolving, you can wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? All right, good job. Let's do that one more time. So big old blanket out in front of you, put onto it any baggage that's going to get in your way in the next 6 months. Any baggage that will lessen your joy or your productivity, your focus, your quality of sleep, whatever, right? And say, angels, can you double check and see if this is healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Breath as your angels edit your piles. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. So then now it's possible that lots of people are subconsciously courting this baggage. So just wash them out with gold light from your hands, and also melt the cords from people going into this baggage. And then just keep using gold light till the baggage fully melts, or you can blow up the baggage fully. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? So then we'll do a little bit of proactive flower healing for the next 6 months. So nourishing is a good balance to clearing, right? And so nourishing, how you could do that is by making energy healing flowers for yourself. You make them out of universal healing energy. And so you don't have to move your hands when you do it, but I always love doing that. So, but you make them out of universal healing energy with your intention, and you set them to a vibration that would nourish you as much as possible. And then your angels are going to check the flowers first. You make energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy, so they'll end up being gold light and or rainbow colors. You don't have to worry about the color consciously. And just say, angels, can you check my flowers? And then give them to yourself. So you're making energy healing flowers that will help nurture you and support you now, and I guess just to help you to be ready for whatever in the next 6 months, right? And so tune them to a vibration that would be healthy for you. The angels, can you double check my flowers? And give them to yourself. Deep breath. Let the energy healing energy go wherever it needs to go. Again, make energy healing flowers for yourself, whatever nourishment that you need to be ready for the next 6 months. And tune it to just the right vibration for you. The angels, can you check my flowers? And then give it to yourself. Breath. Let them go wherever you need. All right. Good job. Good job. Woo! Yay. Woo! Okie doke. All right. So this delightful drawing here is showing your 7th to 8th chakra connection. So that bucket shape is actually your 7th chakra in the top of your head, which is an open cylinder. Purple is a healthy color is an ideal color, I would say, for your 7th chakra. You can set your 7th chakra to your favorite shade of purple. And then your 8th chakra is an energy center that you have that's above the top of your aura. So for Doll, like say here's the top of her aura. So her 8th chakra could be like close, like just a foot above that, or it could be 8 or 9 feet above that. So it's somewhere, it comes and goes, it gets closer and further out, depending on how engaged your higher self is with what you're doing at the moment. But that connection between the 7th and 8th chakra, that's what we really we can work, and you can use sticky gold wax and put it around that connection. So gold light from your hands that sticks to anything that's not you, and just put it around your 7th to 8th chakra connection, so that it sticks to any hard objects or any cords from people, any invasive beings, and just move all that junk out with the wax. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So sticky gold wax. Have it stick to everything that's not you in that 7th to 8th chakra connection, and move it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. And you can say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with this 7th to 8th chakra connection, can you please recycle them? And just repair this connection. Because you want the gold light from your 8th chakra, all that wisdom and healing energy, to come down without interference and without getting like sort of yucked up by invasive energies or baggage. Because you can have like chunks of baggage in that connection, and so that sort of taints your your knowledge. It makes it, it can sour it. You know, like say if your baggage says life is not fair and that's stuck in the 7th to 8th connection. I mean, and in fact, life actually isn't fair. But if you have like a pain thing about it, like, whoa, life is not fair, this sucks, yeah, that kind of life is not fair chunk in there, then it's like even when your 8th chakra is trying to lift you up and enlighten you, it like just seems shitty by the time it gets to you, right? So just any baggage that's stuck in your 7th to 8th connection, just use lots of gold light so you can melt it away. That's why sometimes, like, if you know somebody that just keeps looping on a negative message over and over and over, and you've known them for like 10 years and they still keep doing it, it could be stuck in their 7th to 8th connection. So if it's easier to see that when other people have that issue, but you probably have some level of that issue as well. So go ahead with your 7th to 8th connection and just find that baggage that you keep looping on and just melt it away. Any baggage you keep looping on in your 7th to 8th connection. Keep looping on meaning it affects your thought patterns over and over. It affects how you perceive yourself and your own capabilities, or it affects how you perceive others. And you may have baggage, you know, our theme is sexuality and emotions, right? So you can find some sexuality and emotions related baggage in your 7th to 8th chakra connection. And just use lots of gold light. Take your time. Breathe deeply and just melt it away. Like maybe someone put in there, you're a bad girl, you know, or you're a bad boy, you know, in some lifetime, you know. So just any good, bad judgments stuck in your 7th to 8th connection, just use lots of gold light and melt it away. Any good, bad judgments from others stuck in your 7th to 8th connection, melt it away. Gold light. Couple deep breaths into your hips, into your knees, into your elbows, into your fingers, into your toes. All right, good job, good job. Woo! Hey, good job. All right, cool. So okay. So we're gonna wrap up, and so in the wrap up, we'll do like a combing everything through with gold light, but we'll also clear STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks, and we'll also clear baggage that you have that prevents you from having a glass half full perspective, which can be more encouraging and more productive, more motivational. So we'll clear any blocks to your optimism. All right, so you can just imagine your everything, all your auras out in front of you, a copy of that out in front of you, all your 17 auras, and comb through with gold light. Comb through all of that. Unblock. You can comb through like front and back, right there. You can comb through above your shoulders, above your head. You want to have it unblocked enough, your auras unblocked enough so that you can receive new energy from any angle. New energy of yours. Good stuff. Unblock above your shoulders. So clear STEBs. Stubborn triggered energy blocks. You can make a big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it any energy blocks that are still triggered, even though we've done so much in this healing. And I'd say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then bring up red earth energy, soak it all in red earth energy from the core of the earth, and use gold light and melt cords from people going into these blocks. Melt everyone's energy out, melt your own energy out so that the blocks can melt fully with gold light. Or you can blow them up. Do that again. Put your STEBs out in front. Angels, can you recycle the beings? Angels, is this healthy and gentle? Healthy and gentle. Melt the cords from people. Melt people's energy out. Let the blocks melt fully or blow them up. Anything left over, just wrap up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with this? Okay, so now clear optimism blocks. Put a big gold blanket out in front of you. Pile onto it any blocks that you have that give you like a pissy mood, like you know, just really unproductively non-beneficial pissy mood. I mean, it's not like you can't run anger when you please. It's just that sometimes you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot with it, you know, like it's like a glass half empty perspective. So glass half full perspective is going to help move you forward, help you to improve your life more, a lot more. So just pile onto any blocks that you have towards your optimism. Anything blocking you from having that motivational glass half full perspective. And say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Deep breath. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then just run your gold light from your hands through all this baggage and melt it away with gold light. And keep melting it till it's gone or blow it up. If you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So one more time, clearing optimism blocks. So anything that's blocking your optimism, anything that's blocking your healthy motivation, your healthy can-do attitude, and you know, being able to really perceive a positive potential that you have. Just put all those optimism blocks out in front of you. And angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then just use lots of gold light and melt people out of the blocks. Melt their cords out with gold light from your hands. Melt everybody's energy out of these blocks. And just keep melting them with gold light until the blocks are fully gone. Or you can blow them up. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with this? All right. So as we wrap up, you can ask your angels, angels, can you please help me with my emotions and my sexuality? Angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? All right. Good job. Good job. You're amazing. That's a healing. Woohoo! Yay! Good job. Okay, so we will take the healing's done. We'll take a bathroom break and a stretch break. And then we'll do at least a 30-minute chit chat so that you could post, comments that you have about how you're doing after the healing, or any feedback you have about the theme, any follow-up questions you have about something I said in the live stream. If I don't get to your question, you could repost it under the video as a video comment, and I will post a reply underneath your comment when I have time. So let's do the break. I will get rid of the camera so you don't see my empty chair the whole time I am gone. I'll be back in a few minutes. Here we go. I am back. I am back. So if you want to do some stretching right now, you can. I'm going to do some. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Just do some stretching that's good for you if you want. My chiropractor says that after 30 minutes of sitting, you should just at least walk around a little. So anyway, I'm going to do some stretching. Just for like a minute or two. Hello, hello. Hope you had a good break. I did. So newbies can say anything they please. If they want me to look at their grounding or something, that's fine. If you're more experienced with my work, I would appreciate it if you would observe yourself first, like, practice reading yourself, intuiting how you're doing, and then, post your assessment first, and then I would comment on what I think about your assessment, if I have anything to add, or so that way you're practicing evaluating yourself, which is a really important thing to do. As you learn to heal yourself, you learn all these techniques. You got to know when you need which technique, because there's so many, the practicing of sort of assessing where you're at is a good practice. Alrighty. Looking for comments I haven't read yet. Someone gives me a thank you emoji. You're welcome. Someone says, morning, Janet. Great to see you live today. Yes, I'm glad you were able to do that. Life is good in sunny Queensland, Australia, even though it is winter here. Love your healing skills and always keen to learn. Well, thanks. Welcome to the live stream. Someone says, thank you so much, Janet. I was super triggered at the start of the healing, but now I'm super duper mellowed out during the good bad work. Yeah, clearing judgments about good and bad. I've been feeling a really positive push towards my new job slash move goals. When I look at my new job path, I'm holding resumes and moving forward, but there's white smoke. Also looks like when I interview, there's black smoke between me and interviewer. Accurate? Well, I wonder, are you doing in-person interviews yet, or, actual conscious level interviews, or is it only astral at this point? Like, are you, like doing, um, video interviews or phone interviews or in-person interviews with people yet? Um, it does seem like, it seems like you're in a different stage of it now. Like, it seems like before everything was so vague and murky, and you were just like, well, what am I even doing? And should I do this? And whereas now it seems like you are clear on the destination, and you're beginning to broaden some of your, like, I think, I don't know if you were thinking only nonprofit and now you're thinking, well, it has to do more with your quality of life, and that there can be valid work in a for-profit company. Doesn't have to be a nonprofit. And your quality of life is important as well. And that for-profit companies are such a big part of the world that, you can be a good person and do good work within a for-profit company. So I think that there's been like this, like, only nonprofit kind of a vibe around your work that I think it seems like you're outgrowing. Like, it was important for you to work in the nonprofit world for a while, but it seems like there are different priorities now. It's like living a moral life. You're reframing what it means to live a moral life. And that, sometimes having money is a part of, because then you can use your money for causes that support your moral choices. So, yeah, anyway, so it seems like you're working some of that stuff. I think the smoke and the other people's energy, it's not really the point anymore. It's more like if you're clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, and, what do you have self-imposed limits? And have you outgrown those and you're in the process of clearing them? That kind of idea. So it's more about you and your views and your goals, and if you're putting any sort of old limitations in front of you that don't work for you right now. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, it does look like you're definitely making progress. Someone says, thank you so much for the healing. I am always double guessing myself about there being an 8th chakra. If I read myself, invasive beings try to hide it from me and confuse me that it stops at 7. I now see my 8th more. I did start thinking of an old friend. Sadness started creeping. You mentioned the person's initials. Sadness started creeping in. I don't think it's her, and it's more of an 8th chakra self baggage that I was avoiding after the invasive beings cleared. Thank you. Complex. I don't think seeing the 8th chakra really matters. I think it's more just that connection 7th to 8th. Just like thinking about, okay, well, the gold light from my 8th chakra, you know, as it comes down, does it get messed with? Does it have to go through baggage? Does it, you know, is there a leak in that connection? That kind of idea. I think that's more the point than seeing your 8th chakra is sort of like, it could just be triggering for certain reasons and it's not that important. There is like one being that just sort of, yeah, he just sort of like, he's trying to make this like a white sort of hammock between you and your 8th chakra. So he's trying to access your 7th, that connection, but then he's more visible when you try to look up at your 8th. It's like this white sort of hammock thing. So you could just have him recycled. And yeah. But it looks like what you're seeing is you're seeing people or beings that are courting your 7th to 8th connection, and then part of their energy spreads out, so it blocks your view of your 8th chakra when you look up. If you look at a profile, then it'd probably be easier because then you could see, you know, like how I do it in the drawing. You know, that very simplistic drawing there. You know, because then you can see, okay, well, the whatever's courting there is creating this, you know, cloud around it. So the point is just to look at the connection, the 7th, 8th connection, and see, you know. It seems like about halfway down, there's like some black bands there. And so it's like your 7th, 8th connection like goes on a diet after that. Like there's only like about a third of the energy that can pass through that black band, from like some kind of family energy. Like that's the kind, I would just focus on the connection itself, multi-way limitations and impurities in it. So hope that makes sense. But I don't think it's yet necessarily about that old friend. Thanks for the celebratory emoji. I'll do some myself. Yay, woo. Yay, energy healing. Yay. All right. Someone says, hello. I just tuned in time for the stretch break. My sibling is getting this healing. Yes. And they just came home from work saying they feel unwell. Anything you could do to support them? Meanwhile, during the healing, my parent, who's also getting the healing, decided they wanted to listen to some opera music. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, your sibling, it's like there's so much energy that he decided, like, okay, I'm never going to clear this in this life. You know, that's just the way it is. But then, I mean, he wouldn't have to clear it. It's not like these healings force someone to clear anything at all. But it's like there's this inner battle that he's in because he wants a much better quality of life. And you can't have that without clearing the stuff that he's decided he wasn't going to clear. So it's like one hand is trying to clear the stuff and the other hand is like, no. So that's what creates his sort of traffic jam. Yeah, I think that'll relax it up a little bit. Inner battle. I want to clear it. No, I don't. I want to clear it. No, I don't. Yeah. Okay, hope that helps. Someone says, thank you so much. I think angels feel I'm doing well with reducing expenses, yes, and finding new income with You're mentioning a person, nurse practitioners, and a new patient. You're mentioning their name. Moving forward on spiritual path. Any other angel advice? I would turn that around to you, if assuming you're still watching right now. If not, you could post it later under the video and I'll eventually get to it. I would turn it around to you and say, okay, well, if you were to just read your abundance as your professional, no, overall abundance, not just profession, because it's all interrelated. So, but if you were to read your abundance as a river or a garden or a beach or whatever pleases you, what do you see as an issue, and what do you see how you can work it? So read your own abundance, because you're basically just echoing something I told you to do before that you've done and saying, okay, what next? But the point is for you to read what's next. So go ahead, read your abundance and read what you see about it, like an issue you see with it and what you can do next. And then I'll take a look at that. Someone says stretching. You wrote starching. Someone says I've had no conscious level interviews yet. Oh, okay. And yes, I was only thinking nonprofit before, and now I'm thinking for profit too. I think there's a worry of not getting any interviews, which might be baggage from my 20s. I mean, your angels are talking about standing out, and that it's not, you just kind of have to go for it. And the more interviews you get, it's just kind of like I don't know if you're comfortable with this metaphor, but there's a metaphor about like losing your virginity called pop the cherry. So it's kind of a crude metaphor, I guess, depending on how you think about it. But they're just like, you're kind of an interview virgin. Like you've been working so long in one place, that you just kind of have to go for it, and get experience as you go. But they promise they'll line up, they'll help you, to line up interviews that'll help you learn and evolve and become a better interviewee. And so they feel like, you're holding yourself back by not applying and, being afraid to not get interviews. They're like, you shouldn't let that stop you from applying. Just apply. And then sure, you'll be triggered when you have an interview coming up, but at least you'll do it. You could look for ones that will let you do the first round of interviews remotely so that you can get more practice without flying out every time. There could be jobs that will let you do the first or even the second round of interview remotely. Alrighty. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Feeling better after the healing, but also having a sharp headache, which looks like hard objects and damage in my head meridians. Is that correct? Do my angels have any advice for me? Okay, so head meridians, that would be there and also there. Those are head meridians, right? And then there's the whole face ones too. So headache could be all sorts of places, you know, in front of your eye, around your eyes, you know, in the back of your head, all sorts of delightful places. But yes, I mean, 9 times out of 10, headaches are hard objects and damage in your head meridians. But I would say go ahead and read which ones and where the damage is. You know, because you're advanced enough to read that. And then I could double check your work. So where specifically, you know, is the damage? But yeah, sure, that's accurate. So far, what you've said is definitely accurate. But I think you could do more than that. And then I'll double check that extra level of accuracy. Alrighty. Someone says, any angel messages about finding work for me? I've been clearing thoughts that delay it from manifesting, like I'm tired, etc. Yeah, you know, I've been wondering about that with you. It seems like, you know, big things happen on the astral first, and then they manifest, you know, in the awake conscious realm. And so technically people interview on the astral first before they interview on a conscious level, and they even like consider job offers first on the astral and pick a final job offer first on the astral before they would pick it consciously. So if I look at your job hunt on the astral, it looks like one of your brothers, I forget all their names, so you could email me their, I mean, I have, but you could email me specifically if you need to know which brother. But I think it would be like an older brother. Like if you array them by age, it's not the youngest. It's one or two brothers that are like middle and older as far as relative age to the others. And there's like, it's like a wall, and it seems like some jobs you travel a lot for, and they seem to have opinions about that. Like, it seems like, I don't know if they travel for their work and therefore they want you around, you know, to like watch the parents while they're traveling, or they just don't want you traveling. But there's some kind of weirdness about, like, you know, you traveling and you working for certain kinds of companies versus other kinds of companies. And it seems like you want to kind of cast a wide net, and you're very adventurous. And they're in your space about that. These two brothers. So there are like potential interviews on the astral that your angels want you to do that you haven't been doing because you have your brothers in your space, like stopping you from doing it. They don't really think about it as harming you. They just justify it like that they're thinking about their parents, your parents. So I have a video in my short video playlist that's featured on my YouTube channel page that it's called Angel Assisted Conflict Resolution Flowers. AA conflict resolution flowers. AA is angel assisted. So you could use that with them, and just kind of make message flowers. I have the angels check them and have the angels deliver them if they'll help, and just have the message flowers kind of explain like, hey, I got to be me. You know, I got to do my own thing. I'm just not the type of person to, you know, to live someone else's ideals. You know, I got to do me. There's no, I'm not going to be who you want me to be. You know, love me as I am, because that's the way I'm going to be. You know, I love you as you are, but the deal is that you love me as I am now too. Because I think that final part they'll get, because they do feel that with you, that you will really accept them and care about them no matter what. And so just, you know, kind of reminding them that you expect the same would be enough. But then beyond that, oh yeah, I was looking at if you can clear out emotional baggage and fear out of your grounding, because the earth energy you're getting through your grounding is like soured by emotional and fear baggage in your grounding. If you could get a more pure version of the earth energy up, then I think that would allow you to cut through a lot of drama and, you know, social whatevers and whatever. So, and you could post under this video or in that email, you could have me double check after you work your grounding for a little bit to get all the fear baggage and emotional baggage out of it. And after you talk to your brothers on a spirit level with angel assisted conflict resolution flowers, you could have me double check that if you want. All right, I hope that helps. Yeah, I don't think you're tired. You're tired of being held back by your brothers, but other than that, no. You seem very alert on an astral level. And that's where you're being held back right now, is on an astral level. Someone says, just had my second interview today with a job I would love to have. Congratulations. I think it's a good fit for both sides, but waiting to hear back. Is there anything in the way of me being hired? I don't read the future, so I don't want to touch that. I mean, what I would say is just, you know, just line up to like faith in your angels and let your angels help you to manifest the best job possible for you, so that if you didn't get it, it wasn't the best job that you can get at this time. And if you do get it, it is the best. You know what I mean? Like, don't be like, okay, well, that's the job I need. Just be like, okay, I am letting my angels guide me. Yeah, I'm fully open to divine assistance, so that then they can make it happen or not make it happen depending on your best interests. Because sometimes, you know, something seems like it's the best, but it's not. Or, you know, sometimes it seems like the best and it truly is. You know, but just, I would say, just to play it safe and not worry about what's going to happen, just say, I'm open to complete angel guidance and protection, you know, so that whatever happens is what's best for you. Hope that makes sense. Someone says, LOL, pop the cherry. Totally accurate. Your angels are right about applying. I've definitely skipped over some options. Thanks, Janet. Appreciate it. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped. Someone says it's definitely GV. Oh, okay. About the headache. Okay. So we have a definite read on the headache stuff now. So we'll go back to the diagrams. So it's definitely GV20, which is on the top of the head. and 3 or 4 nearby points that go down the forehead. Sorry, don't know their exact name. Oh yeah, I feel you on that. So down the forehead, so you're probably, let's see, so that's this. So are you talking about that gallbladder ones right there? Or are you talking about the urinary bladder? Urinary bladder, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes back. That gallbladder one right there, we did that in a recent healing. I want to say that was last set, the August, the July. Yeah, it would have been the July twin set, I think. Yeah, gallbladder 24. We did it. We did it in one of the July twin set healings. Not sure. Oh, gallbladder 14, sorry. Yeah, July twin set 1 of 2. Last month we did gallbladder. We did the whole gallbladder, the whole side of the head, and then 14 right there. So gallbladder 1 is like, you know, those, there are 2 eye points right there. The turquoisey one, that's Sanjiao meridian. And then the lower one, that's like sort of a greenish blue. If you follow out the corner of the eye, that's gallbladder 1. So anyway, so the question is GB20 fucked? Yes. Nearby points down the forehead, icy. So you're talking like maybe some gallbladder points around there. Yeah, I would say that's definitely accurate. So here's the gallbladder meridian video. So see, you start getting tight, right? Right before you get to the top of your head, you start getting tight in the gallbladder meridian, like right pretty early on. Like that point's fine, and then the gallbladder, that's gallbladder 1. And then gallbladder 2 is fine, but then 3 is starting to get messed up. 4, 5, 6, 7, that's pretty messed up. So it's really tight right around there. That all those points right there are really tight for you. And then, so by the time you get to gallbladder 14, it's just like, it's like sucking through a straw that's already clogged. So it's like, you know, it's like really not happy by that point. So then all the way up there, it's just very vulnerable. It's like there's not enough energy flow, so it's like kind of brittle and tight. So that's when sometimes it's useful to, you know, play either know the whole route of it or to just play the video so you can see like, okay, gallbladder 1's fine, that wasn't there. Gallbladder 2's fine. Gallbladder 3, oh, that's like halfway blocked. Gallbladder 4, 5, 6, 7, oh my gosh, that's like 80% blocked. So then you know, like, work where it starts to get messed up, you know. And as far as governing vessel meridian, I don't think I have that video on. I mean, I have that video. The video exists. I don't think I put it up here just because I should put it up here. It's just, it starts with this butt close up of the guy's butt. It's like sort of disconcerting. But we can see that the governing vessel points if we play the urinary bladder meridian video. So we'll do that. We'll do it that way. That way we can avoid the butt close up of the governing vessel meridian video. Yeah. So yeah, your governing vessel meridian, it's okay, 15, 16, 17. So those base of skull points, they're okay. Right there. So gallbladder meridian, governing vessel meridian, it comes up the midline of the back, so it's fine. Pretty okay, you know, all the way up. And then base of skull points, 15, 16 are close together right there, and then 17. That's pretty good. 18's pretty good. 19 gets a little messy, tight. 20 gets tight. So it's really just 19 and 20 right there. And then like I said, your gallbladder meridian's too tight. And urinary bladder meridian, it gets let's see if I show the video that way, maybe it's more understandable. Okay, your urinary bladder meridian 1 and 2 right there, it's not so bad. You know? Urinary bladder meridian, oh wait, I like oriented it wrong. Not low. Okay. Try it again. So 1 and 2 are pretty good. 1, 2, 3 is pretty good too. 4 is okay. 4 is starting to get a little tight. Then 5 is tighter. So I would say 1, 2, 3, you know, and then 4 is starting to where it starts to get tighter. So I mean, you could do all that, or you could just do peripheral blocks up there. You know, I mean, by now you've fixed the aura damage, so there's no more aura damage. You're getting rid of the hard objects, I would say. Yeah. So it's just like damaged and compressed. So I would just say all the peripheral blocks, you know, peripheral areas, energy blocks all around. But do side ahead too. Don't forget that, because the gallbladder meridian got all overly compressed right there. So do all that. Do the peripheral blocks, the core blocks, and then that might be enough. But then, you know, if you need to, just, you know, start figuring out where it starts going bad and just fix it up. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, you got rid of the aura damage. Since you posted initially, you got rid of the aura damage and the hard objects already. Good job. Woohoo. Someone says, thank you, Janet. You're welcome. Okie doke. Well, to wrap up, I'll do a garden update and pet update. Okay, so let's see, gardening. Yesterday was way too hot to garden, so I didn't bother. Well, yesterday morning, I went out early. I brought Izzy with me out, our dog. I leashed him up on a harness and brought him with me. I have to be very careful if I bring him out in the front yard, because I can't, like, if I tie his leash to something and then I'm walking around, he gets all nervous because I'm not, like, right next to him. And so he can Houdini himself out of his harness. And that has happened before. It's very dangerous. So, but if I hold his leash with me, you know, and then I'm walking around watering plants, like he behaves. It's kind of cumbersome because then I have like the hose and his leash and it gets tangled up a little. But, you know, if I want to water really early in the morning and my husband's still asleep, I can't leave him in the house because he's going to pitch a fit and wake my husband up. Most likely. So anyway, so I brought him out there because yesterday it went up to, I think, 95 here, which is insane. I mean, we get that here, but like only maybe like 5 days or less every summer. We get that hot. So yesterday was one of those days. So we watered the tomato plants between 8 and 9 a.m. and then that was it. I didn't do any other gardening work because I didn't want to. It was way too hot. Even once the garden was in the shade, it was still way too hot outside. So anyway, I just sat around. I had done a lot of cardio the day before, so I just sat around and did nothing. So that was my gardening, doing nothing. But the garden's pretty okay. I mean, like I said, we got our first green bean harvest, our first significant green bean harvest. And then the snap peas are still good, and the tomatoes is kind of a joke. I mean, well, not a joke. It's not funny. But the tomato plants, they're pretty behind. But we'll be getting some cherry tomatoes in the next couple weeks. Oh, blueberries. We have to harvest our blueberries. We marked off. We still have like half a bag of blueberries in the freezer from last summer that we haven't gotten through yet. But we have to harvest now. Outside I have like maybe 8 bigger blueberry bushes and then like maybe 5 or 6 that are smaller. Maybe 5 or so that are smaller of different varieties, so that because you want to cross pollinate so you get as many blueberries as possible. Cross pollinate meaning pollen from different blueberry varieties, and the bees, swap all the pollen around. But anyway, so we sectioned off 3 of the best blueberry bushes, and we put them under, like a mesh, very, very, very fine mesh, so no birds can get caught in it. And we put trellises up first and then the mesh around it, so the mesh didn't mush the bushes this year, which was. But anyway, so the berries are very protected. No animals getting to them, but we need to harvest them. The rest of the bushes, the deer can munch. Well, the deer did munch on them, and the birds can munch on them. But I haven't done that yet. But I did taste some of them the other day, and they're like perfect. So that's kind of cool. We actually have some figs this year. I mean, it's our first year to get figs. Planted the tree a while ago. It was supposed to be a dwarf tree. It's not so dwarf. Like 6 feet tall and right 7 feet wide. Kind of crazy. But it was supposed to be like a 5 foot tall dwarf fig tree. But I guess it's very happy. It's thriving on neglect. So we have a couple. We have some figs from it. But I'm assuming that each year we'll get more. We have some blackberries. I planted a thornless blackberry bush a while ago, a couple years back, and so it's a good year for blackberries. Sorry, thornless blackberries. So we have a bunch this year of the blackberries from that plant. Last year was a total loss for blackberries. It was like all weird and fungus grew on them. So it's because I didn't water it enough when it needed it, and so it got stressed, and then this fungus took it over. But this year, I guess I didn't. I was attentive enough for it to do well. Knock on wood so far. So that's kind of relief. I didn't mess it up. And there are various beds that I need to finish mulching that I've planted and whatever. The work in progress. I'm waiting for another load of mulch, but you can't really control when it comes because it's a free website, and so whenever it comes and you get a giant truckload of wood chips, you're lucky to get it. So it is what it is. So that's that. That's gardening. Let's see. Pets. Boo Boo Kitty, our cat, is still adorable. She didn't show up in this live stream because I didn't bribe her. I didn't put treats out. So that was my fault. But she's doing well. She's cute. Very cute. And our dog. Oh, he's behind me sleeping. Yeah, I could show him. There he is back there. There he is, right there. He's sleeping. They like sleeping on the floor in the hot weather. Sorry about my hand shaking. Alrighty, so you guys are amazing. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever's next for you. And thanks for my little chat comments. Yay, yes, yum, blueberries, fig school. Thank you. Thank you, you're welcome. Okay, you're so awesome. end with butterflies. Oh, actually, you know what? I have one more thing to say. Funny. Okay, so this is a movie. It's a Netflix movie, Kpop Demon Hunters. And I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm going to. But the music is pretty interesting. I like a lot of it, and I listened to these like music commentators on YouTube that are like either voice coaches or like music producers, and they were commenting on, you know, some of the more popular songs in the movie, like an animation movie. And they said a lot of cool stuff. It was kind of fun to listen to them geek out about like, you know, the singer's range and like, oh my God, they got that high note and they were able to use this kind of voice on that high note and da, da, da. And it was I don't know, it's been a fun little journey to like people getting excited about those songs, and I actually like them too, and so that's interesting. So if you want a crash course in all the songs and all the videos out there about these songs, you can email me and say, you know, give me the Kpop Demon Hunters email. And I'll email you more than you ever wanted to know about. You know, you can check out this video, which is a commentary video on this song, or you could check out this video, which is lists most of the major songs in order in chapters so you can hop around. All sorts of stuff. But you can let me know too if you've seen the movie or you've heard any of the music or whatever. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. Can mention that. One of the songs too, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen the animation for a couple of the songs, and one of the songs is kind of psychic, you know? Like it shows invasive beings in the video. Kind of interesting. I mean, you know, some of it's not really accurate, like what they do with the invasive beings, but still, it's pretty cool. It's kind of, you know, depicts energy boundaries, kind of, and stuff. So, pretty interesting. All right. Well, you guys are amazing. And if you want to purchase a set of healings, which you are welcome to do for yourself or a loved one or both, awhealing.com. Yes, I know my own website. All right, you guys are so amazing. And if you want to email me to ask for the free 2-page chakra handout, that's my email address. Okay, bye. You're so fabulous. Ooh.